Schefter back with us for some more top stories. Raheem Morris, Adam, fired in Atlanta on Sunday, but the news didn't stop there. Adam, what other teams are making moves at the head coaching positions?
Well, Laura, Raheem Morris is going to interview this week, according to Peter Schrager, with the Tennessee Titans. And my understanding is it will not be. We're going to start with Stefanski here. Okay, he's got interest from the Giants, the Falcons, the Titans. He's expected to interview with all those teams at some point. There could be other teams that jump in, but those three initially jumped in for Stefanski today, and we'll see how that works out for him. But it looks like he'll be a top candidate in this cycle. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas Raiders fired Pete Carroll today, one and done after the Raiders had the worst record in football and have locked up the #1 overall pick in the draft, where many expect that they'll take a quarterback. It'll be up to the Raiders general manager, John Spytek, along with Tom Brady, to find the next Raiders head coach to replace Pete Carroll, who now is moving on from Las Vegas. And the Arizona Cardinals fired Jonathan Gannon today after a few seasons where this team struggled to get it right defensively. In particular, that was his specialty. You see his record, 15-36 in the 3 seasons. He had lost his last 9 games, and the Cardinals owner, Michael Bidwell, decided today he had seen enough. The Cardinals general manager, Monty Ossenfort, will lead the team search. Meanwhile, there are a number of coaches who have been deemed safe. Shane Steichen and the Colts GM, Chris Ballard, safe for 2026. Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, and Duke Tobin, the player personnel manager, today, safe. Joe Shane, the Giants general manager, safe. And as we mentioned at the start, Peter Schrager reported Raheem Morris going to interview at Tennessee later this week. And like I said, there'll be other teams, I believe, that will also be interviewing Raheem Morris for the head coaching job as well. Plenty of interest in Raheem Morris, who was fired last night from Atlanta, and I think surprised by the decision, frankly.
Okay, Mina, should this Falcons job be a desirable landing spot for a head coach?
I think so, with some caveats. I think one of the things that is appealing about it is that they wiped the slate clean, right? Like we talked earlier about a couple teams where I said with the Giants and the Browns, I didn't understand why they kept the GM. And with Atlanta, I think it was the right decision to move on from the GM, despite the fact that he has drafted some talented players. Too often I have felt like instead of focusing on this roster from a holistic standpoint, they just aggressively attacked one position, going for 2 quarterbacks at the same time with Cousins and Penix. And this year, going all in on the pass rush, perhaps at the extent of other positions on the roster. And I think because the decision at quarterback is so monumental, so challenging, to be blunt, you don't want a GM who comes into this who already has pre-existing beliefs about what it should look like, perhaps based on decisions made in the past. Now you have the opportunity to do what we saw in Jacksonville, what we saw in New England, which is the GM and the head coach can move in lockstep on the same timeline and make that challenging decision together. And it is going to be a challenging one because there are a lot of factors, including health and money, going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Look, the quarterback position is the most important. I mean, usually the 3 coaches that we saw got fired, they had issues at that position. It's lockstep with what guys have to do. And look, Michael Penix injuries and didn't work out. Kirk Cousins got injured after they planned it. But the draft threw us all for a loop when they took Michael Penix Jr. There's talent on this Atlanta roster. We saw it come to fruition. They may have the best offensive player in football. In Bijan Robinson, you can make a hard argument for that. So there are a lot of things to be desired. But we all know what that position means to any and every franchise. Just take a look at the playoff teams. Couple guys are just guys, but majority of these guys played at a very high level. You have to get that position right in Atlanta because I think you have a lot to build off there.